And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Ryan Metzler.
Hey everybody, it's Ryan Metzler here again, and today we're going to take a look at a game about coal mining. I know everybody loves coal mining. Who doesn't love a little bit of back-breaking work? Now this is a game from R&R Games, and it's called Coal Baron, in which the players are going to be operating their own coal mine, trying to fill orders by getting different types of coal, bringing it up, and delivering it via different methods to, of course, the people who have ordered it in order to get victory points. And there are going to be different ways to score throughout the game. So real quick, why don't we just take a look at what you get inside of this box. We'll see how the game plays, and then at the end we'll come back and I'll give you my opinions of it. So here you can see the board for Coal Baron, all set up for a 4-player game. We have our central board here where players will be taking actions like picking up more coal to place into their mine, or picking up actions to move up and down their mine. You have to pick up the coal and deliver it, delivering their orders, buying more orders, or getting some money. Out here, each player is going to have their own player board, and these boards are basically mine shafts with several different layers of different types of coal that you can mine to deliver for orders, which you draft at the start of the game and can get more of throughout the game. So taking a little bit closer look at this, each player is going to have one of these boards, and on here you have this mine shaft with an elevator that can travel up and down, and it's nice and recessed so this will stay in here, it doesn't shift off. And this mine shaft or mine cart can hold 5 different cubes at a time, so you'll want to be efficient in getting those. On this you have 4 different levels, yellow, brown, gray, and black being worst to best type of coal in terms of delivery for points throughout the game. In addition, each side of these levels has a different light or dark characteristic. So on this side we have dark. You can see there's no light in this mine shaft. And over here we have light, so there are lights here. And when you buy new carts, they have to go on the appropriate side, and keeping a balance between the number of tiles on each side will be important for endgame scoring. So the way that this game works is that players are going to be placing their workers from their supply out onto actions that are on this board. And you're always going to have to place at least one worker, and always one more worker than the previous number of workers that are there if you want to kick somebody off of a space. So for example, if you wanted to get a new mine cart, you could place over here. And right now, since the board is empty, I could place on this spot, and I would go ahead and be able to buy this tile, which is 2 yellow. So you'll see this one looks like this, and it would cost me 1 for each of these mine carts because they have a 1 printed on them. So if I were to buy this, I would pay 2 money from my money supply to the bank, and I would put this out into my mining area. And it has to go on the light side, and I'd get 2 yellow cubes to put on it. So you'd basically do that. Once I've done this, this is going to replenish. And now, if somebody else wants to buy this double black cart, instead of for some reason this other double black cart that's on the board, they would have to use 2 of their workers to replace my worker, and it would move him off to the cafe. It doesn't actually have an effect on me, but it increases the cost of taking actions that have been taken by other players previously. So you can buy more mine carts over here, and there's even a special spot that will let you look through 5 mine carts, pick one of them, and put the rest of them back onto these piles however you want. It just gives you a little bit more option, but you still have to pay for the cart. Likewise, we have action spaces for various other things. Like this one here is going to allow you to take actions in your mine, which is going to be how you move your elevator, how you pick up coal cubes from your mine, and how you deliver them to orders that you've got. So for example, you could place a worker out here. Let's say white did this, but we're using blue, so we'll say blue did it. And that player now has 10 actions worth of movement that they can use over here. So with this movement, blue will be moving their elevator and their mine shaft in order to pick up various different cubes. So for example, they could move down 1, and that's going to cost them 1 movement of their 10. Then they can pick up all 3 of these yellow, and each one you pick up costs you 1. So that'd be 2, 3, 4. Moving down again would be 5. They can then pick up this brown, 6. Then they move up 2, 7, 8. And then they can move 2 of these cubes off into their orders. So we can go 9, 10, and you'll see that this yellow order is now complete, but it hasn't been delivered, and they still have 2 cubes resting on their elevator. If they'd have had more movement, they could actually store these in a temporary storage area, this shack here, and then it would take an extra movement to move them off onto an order once they had an order for them. But for right now, they're going to sit on the elevator, and that's how movement will work. Note your elevator can only hold 5 things. And you can take more or less movement dependent on how much you need and which spots are able to be placed on you by having enough workers. These spots over here are going to be for getting money. You can place on here and get 6, 5, 4, or 3 money. Or you can place workers on this little area over here, which can hold any number of workers, and you'll get 1 for each worker that you place over here. Finally, you can take more orders, and these orders are on the board. They're basically for the different types of coal that you have, but you'll need to get more coal, of course, to satisfy them. So we have 2 brown, 1 brown, 2 black, or 3 brown, and they're worth 5, 3, 9, and 7 points, respectively. Now, when you fill these orders, like this order I have filled right here, you need to deliver them. And there are delivery spots on the board for hand cart, horse-drawn cart, truck, or train type delivery, and each one of these orders has a different type of delivery on the bottom. These two are both train, but you can see some hand carts, some horse-drawn carts, and another train up here. No trucks out currently. When you have orders you'd like to deliver, you of course place workers out here, however many you need to place in order to beat whoever's there, or one if it's empty, in order to deliver all of that type of order you have that are complete. So if I had both of my train orders complete, I could place out on this area out here, in order to, of course, deliver my train orders. And when I do so, I lose the cubes, and I get as many points are printed on the card. This card will then go off to the side, and it's used for scoring later on. Players are going to place workers out onto the board until they've decided they have to pass or they don't want to do anything anymore, and they will pass their turn. And once each player has passed their turn, you'll move on to one of the 3 scoring rounds in the game. Now, these scoring rounds are going to be based on this little track right here. And you'll see at the start we have this arrow that points right here, and that's the first scoring round, meaning that we're going to score these 4 different things. What these are is whoever has delivered the most yellow, the most brown, the most gray, and the most black cubes. And you're going to get 2 points if you're in first, 1 point if you're in second, 3-1, 4-2, or 5-2 points dependent on the different types of cubes. So you'll see black is inherently more valuable than yellow. So everybody would look at their delivered orders when they've got them. They're going to see who's delivered the most and score those points respectively. After that, you're going to remove the workers, and whoever has the most workers placed out here is going to become the first player. They'll have this little token. When they do this, you'll start the next round. All of the workers will be removed, everything will of course be cleared off, and you'll start the next round. People will have scored some points. After you finish the next round, you're going to score slightly differently. You're still going to score for whoever's delivered the most of each type of coal, but you're also going to score for whoever's delivered the most by each different method: hand cart, horse-drawn cart, truck, and train. So you'll look at your orders that are delivered again, and whoever's delivered the most of each of these will get 6-3, 7-3, 8-4, or 9-4, with trains, of course, being the best again. The third round will score even more differently. At the end of this round, you're going to score everything you've scored before, but you're also going to score for empty mine carts that are in your area out here. So as the game goes, you're going to add more mine carts to your mine, and you're going to empty them off by putting stuff into your orders, satisfying those orders, and of course completing them to score points. But whoever has the most empty mine carts of each color, yellow, brown, gray, and black, is going to score points: 10-5, 11-5, 12-6, or 13-6 for first and second place respectively. And that will be basically the last round of the game. Now, at the end of the game, there's a couple of other things that score points. You're going to go ahead and you're going to get 1 point for every $5 you have. You're going to lose a point for each order that you didn't complete. You're going to get 1 point for each 3 remaining cubes you have. And you're going to basically lose points based on the balance of your mine. As I said earlier, you need to have an equal amount of light and dark tiles on each side of your mine, and for each one that's varied in that balance, you're going to lose 2 points. At the end of the game, whoever manages to get the most points by having the right color of cubes delivered, get the most orders, get the most points, will be the winner. Well, there you have it. That is Coal Baron, a pretty simple worker placement game, and I am not using simple in a derogatory term or a derogatory way at all this time. The game is simple but elegant in my opinion. The theme really meshes well with the game first off, so I feel like I'm going down into a mine, that I'm picking up coal, and that I'm bringing it back in order to fulfill an order, and that fulfilling that order pays off for me. And the more work I do, I feel like it's going to pay off better. So that's a great start. In addition, the production quality of the game is excellent. The fact that they actually thought of putting in a backing to that player board where the elevator can slide up and down without falling out is brilliant to me. I would have never come up with it. I'm amazed that they did. Maybe I'm just stupid, but hey, they came up with it, and I think that's great. In addition, the fact that when somebody takes an action and you have to place more workers in order to do that action, I'm not sure how it fits thematically, but it feels good in the game. It feels like placing on an action is going to become more and more desirable. The more people that are taking that, maybe you have to wait in line to take that action, and that's why you have to place more guys. Whatever it is, it takes more of your resources in order to do something. The fact that the game only lasts 3 rounds and that the scoring stacks from round to round, I think increases the tension in the game and gives you multiple different choices and ways to score. Do you want to focus early on getting those orders delivered so that you can get the early points for delivering the most of a certain type of color? Or do you want to wait a little bit longer and deliver a lot of the same type together in order to maximize your efficiency? Maybe you have one train order done, but you'd like to wait and deliver another train order later. And in addition, you don't really need to have those trains done until the second round when you score for delivery types. Are you going to try and empty all of your cubes out of your mine, or are you going to try and be effective in delivering those cubes and having them available only when you need them? Lots of choices to be made, but overall a very simple game. All you do is place workers and take your action. So I think the fact that they managed to maintain that simplicity while have tension and a little bit of decision to be made throughout the game makes this a very good, simple game by R&R Games. That's Coal Baron.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.